Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Gramoglia, the President and CEO here at Woodland Pond, and this is my weekly address for a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, and this is going to be quite the update. I want to start by formally announcing that we took our financing to pricing this morning. And for those that don't know what that is, and I have had to learn this myself because we don't do this very often, this is where the underwriters try to get the investment bankers to ticket or commit to purchasing a certain amount of the total par of the bonds. And as you all know, our financing is going to be for $32 million. So the goal for the day today was to walk away by the end of the day with having all $32 million spoken for. And that's really a function of how well did we do, sort of selling the deal, how enticing is the deal to the bond holders, and how well does the underwriter do at their job. And a portion of that relates to the interest rate. So of course, we want the interest rate to be as low as possible. The bondholders want the interest rate to be as high as possible. So you want to kind of find that healthy tension. So we had the opportunity today to actually watch in real time as the tickets were put into the underwriters. And so it started at 9:30. And the very first investment bank that put in a bid, put it in for the full 32 million. And it's a brand new investor to us. It's not an existing bondholder. We watched that for the next hour. And by the end of the hour, we had actually oversold this or overcommitted it by almost 6 times or 5 times more than par. So we ended with $191 million in commitments for the 32 million. So of course, we're not borrowing 191 million. We're still just borrowing the 32. But what this has had the impact of doing is it's brought several new investment banking firms, including Goldman Sachs, some other really big players that have an enormous amount of assets under management to the table in the most meaningful way that we've ever had in 16 years. And that bodes very, very well for the confidence in the senior living investment market in this project. This gives us a great launching pad for the larger expansion borrowing that will be coming in a couple of years. And it really couldn't have gone any better. It also has had the impact of dropping our interest rate down such that the savings that we are going to actually earn, or the savings that we will see, the interest rate savings compared to projected, is going to save Woodland Pond over $5.5 million over the course of the debt. So congratulations to the team. Thank you so much to our underwriting bank, Ziegler, and to everybody that was involved. We will be finalizing the paperwork, and we are looking to close on this in the second week of November. So congratulations to everyone, but we got through it and could not have been any better. So very, very excited about that. We want to just go over a couple of things today that are going on campus. You have seen the coning off of parking spots in the front lot in front of the health center. And that is a project that needs to get done in anticipation of the new Performing Arts Center starting. We had to shift our handicapped or ADA spots down a few. And in order to make compliant ADA spots, we need to increase the number of curb cuts in the sidewalk. It's very loud work. We know that. It's unavoidable. The only way to get through concrete, there's no quiet way to do it. And we do have to have that ground down and jackhammered out by a professional firm so that we can make those curb cuts. So that is underway today. We're also doing our annual fire hydrant testing. And I have already seen in the restroom that the water is discolored. This is typical whenever we have to do this kind of testing. You should have received a notice in your email this morning that this was going to be happening. Just keep an eye on it and let the water run. I'm not entirely sure when that's going to be done. It takes a little bit of time to do that, but it will all be completed today. Coming up, some more construction-related prep items that are timely for me to talk about. I'm sure Dave will reiterate this on Friday. There are going to be changes to parking patterns coming soon. Once the construction manager begins to mobilize and starts putting up construction fencing and creating those safe spaces for their equipment, we are going to have to make changes to our parking patterns, and that information will be coming out to all of you. We are also discussing internally how to operationalize support for you so that we can be as supportive as you need us to be in terms of getting your vehicles or dropping them off and those kinds of things. So there will be more to come on that. In order to complete the build out of the flex space down in the basement, which is where a lot of our activities, performing arts center things, a lot of things are going to flex in and out of that space over the next year or so while we go through construction. And we need to enhance the electrical capacity in that room. In order to do that, we do have to take down one leg of our existing electric for roughly 4 hours. And it is going to take the electric out of the south wing. We know that. So as soon as we have confirmation with Central Hudson as to when we can coordinate that with our electrician, we will make notification to you in advance. But it's very important that those in the south wing of independent living listen to this message, read the Chanticleer, and be prepared for this outage. We are going to do it during the day. We are going to do it when all of our staff is here in case you need anything. Obviously, we're going to be putting out reminders about things like making sure that you don't open your refrigerator. You want to keep that cold air in the fridge. The contractor knows that, we want this to be as quick as possible, but sometimes it's unavoidable. And from a safety perspective, they can't work on the electric in the way that they need to with that leg of the electric up. So that will be coming sooner than later. I would anticipate probably sometime next week. But again, we will be getting advance information out to you and make sure we do that on a day when we're fully staffed. We have a bunch of things coming up, a bunch of things going on information-wise. I'll just go through a couple of them. The Res Life department is working on putting together a Handbook 101 review and refresher course. Not exactly sure how that's going to look yet. Not sure if we're going to do that before the new handbook gets released, but that will be coming up to kind of go through the important points of the handbook, guide people on how to use it, that kind of thing. We routinely do a formal satisfaction survey of the residents, and we like to use a third-party firm to do that. And that survey is actually going to be coming out to you within the next couple of days, and then you will have 2.5 weeks to complete that. This is part of our partnership with U.S. News and World Report, and we last did it, I think, maybe 2 years ago, this formal survey. And it's really helpful because normally the survey questions are the same year over year, and we also get benchmark data so that we know how our results stack up to other communities. So very, very important for folks to fill this out. It's sort of a roadmap for us as to where we can be putting resources. Where do residents think that we need to spend less time, spend more time, what's interesting to people. So those will be coming out, and look for those in your email inbox. We will also be making opportunities for those that do not regularly use electronics to have assistance from either a resident volunteer or a staff member to help you complete that. Those will be anonymous. Speaking of anonymous surveys, thank you very much to everyone that participated in the staffing adequacy survey for the health center. I am in the process right now of reviewing and collating those responses. With lots of begging, borrowing, and pleading, we did end up getting, I think, up to 25 responses in total. So not a huge percentage compared to the fact that, we have over 500 people on the stakeholder list. But either way, the feedback is very valuable. I am seeing a few trends. Some things are one-offs, but we're going through that systematically right now and looking at the most impactful ways that we can be responsive to those surveys. So thank you again to everyone that has reached out on that. I am doing a similar process right now related to our health center family council. And what I'm calling this is a health center family report card. So we have health center family council Zoom meetings once a quarter. And so I had asked Lindsay to pull me the transcripts of those meetings for the entire last year. So starting at October of 2024's meeting. And I'm going through the transcripts in terms of all of the items that came up as a concern from a family member or something that Woodland Pond committed to doing. And I'm putting together a table for each meeting that says, here was the concern that was raised, or here's what the thing that Woodland Pond committed to, and then giving a current status update. And that will be part of the family council meeting next week. Good, bad, or ugly. I wanted to really hold ourselves accountable to that. So I am doing that report card for those that are interested. And on that point, the family council meeting, which is for loved ones of residents in the health center currently, is next Tuesday at 5 p.m. And if you are a known loved one of a health center resident, you should have received a Zoom invite for that. If you have not done so, I would ask that you please contact my assistant, Lindsay, or just concierge, and we will get you that information. Next Wednesday, there is a resident association meeting at on the 29th. I think it's at 3. And among other things, Christy Battistoni, our director of finance, will be going through a bunch of metrics, but she will be going over monthly service fee budgeted increases for January 1st. I will just give you a sneak peek that they are going to be lower than they have been in years. So we're excited to be able to do that. Lots of good financial news on the horizon. So I won't give a total spoiler alert, but compared to where we've been in the last couple of years, we definitely are not higher, and we are under where we've been. So we're excited about that. The last thing that I have before I go into rumor mill and suggestion box is pursuant to the discussion that I brought up last week about how Woodland Pond is working to be as creative as possible and as proactive as possible related to moving around tasks for health center staff. For certain tasks that are and have historically been assigned to, for example, a certified nursing assistant, or a unit assistant, that those are positions that are very difficult for us to fill. We have identified 2 immediate opportunities to pull some of those specific responsibilities out of those job descriptions. And so you will, if you are interested, in addition to the postings that we've had up for quite some time for those certified positions, if you were to go to Indeed or to one of the other job boards, you would see that we have posted for full-time, what we are calling laundry and linen aides. And these are folks that are going to actually report to Rob Dunn, our Director of Environmental Services. And these are the folks that will be responsible on each unit in the health center solely to do the entire laundry stream. So from dirty to clean to hung up, making sure things are labeled and put away properly. That's going to move out from under the nursing department into squarely into environmental services. This team will also be responsible for bed making and linen changes on the beds in the health center, again, dedicated and through environmental services. So it will allow the equivalent hours to get freed up from those harder to fill positions. It's just a way that we can make sure that these services are getting accomplished the way that they need to, the way we want them to, and recognizing that, healthcare hiring is extremely difficult right now. Similarly, we have identified that there are some opportunities for what we are now calling a couple of new positions, again, in the health center that will report through the activities department. And these are going to be called exploration and walking guides. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So these are going to be formal positions paid for by Woodland Pond. These will be staff members, and their job responsibilities will be to take our health center residents, particularly those that may have cognitive impairment and cannot otherwise do things like this on their own on planned, scheduled, and varied exploring opportunities, walking opportunities. So whether that be in the Wander Garden itself, on the new trail system, go to do an art review in the independent living hallways. It's going to be cultivated. It is going to include maybe trips to the pub in the morning for coffee, really to kind of be doing as much as we can with those folks that, can benefit from that, and not having it necessarily fall to the neighbor court in the way that it has in the past. So really trying to invest in those positions where we can take some of the responsibilities off of those harder to fill positions and make sure that those services are getting provided. So we're really excited about that. Lots of good news today. So getting into the rumor mill and suggestion box, we had quite a few of them, but they're all kind of softball. So I'm excited about that. This one says the farmer's market last week was very disappointing. Vegan baked goods, ugh, exclamation point, and $6 for one scone. The coffee roaster did not have decaf. The only thing worth buying were apples. Who chose these vendors? So Lindsay and Carrie did a fantastic job reaching out to the community to try to get, the goal was to get more than 15 vendors. And we went into the planning of the farmers market with a full 15 on the list. 2 days beforehand, we started getting cancellation calls, and at the end of the day, 11 that had committed backed out. And it was any variety of excuses or justifications. Primarily, it was that a lot of these are local farms and orchards and local small vendors saying that they were having more business at their home locations than they expected, and so that they would not be able to staff sending somebody to the farmers market. So we agree it was very disappointing as to what the vendors that came were able to produce and what their pricing was. Woodland Pond has no control over that. That's their choice. But yes, we did have 11 additional vendors just 2 days beforehand, and there was a lot of backing out. So we're going to think about how to do that a little bit differently next year, but that's how that all kind of went. The next says, please wear your name badge. I was recently at a meeting of 20 people and only 10 were wearing their badge. Wearing your badge is not only helpful to new residents, but also to people who still don't know everyone after being at Woodland Pond for a while. There are well over 100 of us after all. So actually, we've got 365 residents right now. Not everyone wears name tags because some are in the health center, may not, that might not be part of what is appropriate for them at that time. But we are currently reviewing the results of the mission, vision, values survey that went out last week, which does include some questions related to the PERS alarm and the name badges, the style of them, the usefulness of them. But certainly we know for a fact that the badges help people to identify one another. So I expect that even if this is not the form that we continue to use of the badges, there will be some sort of a name badge that we will continue with for that reason. This one says, kudos to whomever decided to refer to the toilet paper we can purchase here at Woodland Pond as bamboo toilet paper on our monthly bills, rather than using its brand name. And I think that's cute because I think obviously the brand name, which is Who Gives a Crap, is probably to some distasteful, but we are selling a lot of this bamboo toilet paper. The Gramoglia household has transitioned to using it solely, and I was a huge skeptic at first. I was literally picturing the thing that the pandas eat being somehow turned into a roll and in my bathroom, but it's not that at all. I really like this toilet paper. I think it's very effective, and I'm so thankful that so many residents have made the migration to using it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can ask concierge and you can buy yourself a trial roll and see how you like the bamboo toilet paper. This one says, rumor has it that Woodland Pond at New Paltz gives the best, in all caps, parties, exclamation point. Thank you again to all those who contributed in any way to our recent Sweet 16 celebration, exclamation point, and I couldn't agree more. It was wonderful to see everyone, and our staff did a great job planning. And who would have thought 16 years, right? For those of us contributing to the capital campaign, would you please let us know if any committed contribution is to be made in the last quarter of 2025? And the answer to that is yes. We still have like 2.5 months left in the quarter, and we needed to get through today's pricing to have the confidence that the financing was going to go forward. Because as we committed, we were not going to accept a single dollar towards the capital campaign until the financing was a done deal. So I will be talking we have a board meeting tomorrow. We're going to talk at the board meeting tomorrow about what the date is that we can begin accepting those contributions. The account has been opened with Sawyer Savings Bank, so you will be able to make those payments directly to them. We do have the quarters that you indicated that you were planning to make the contributions. We obviously understand that in some cases those might change a bit. So I need to just now realign my my time and things like that, now that we're primarily through the financing, and get back sort of into the logistical mode for the capital campaign. But the short answer to this question is yes. If you were prepared to make a contribution in the fourth quarter of 2025, that opportunity will be opening up very, very soon. And we just ask for you to stay tuned on that for information. All right, just a couple more here. This one says, I recently received my 127 plus page hard copy of Medicare and You 2026, the official U.S. government Medicare handbook. I have read page 2 on what's new and important, and I note that this handbook has some special information for New York, except for New York City and surrounding counties. This person was hoping that we might have an information session about how to use the handbook and what might be especially important for residents at Woodland Pond to know and understand. I did forward this rumor mill or suggestion to Christy Battistoni, our Director of Finance, and I've asked her to plan to put something together on that. So there will be a calendar ad for that item. Speaking of calendar ads, I'm sorry, I have one. Thursday, October 30th, which is next Thursday at 7 p.m., SUNY New Paltz, which has a distinguished speaker series, has opened up some additional seats that we'd like to send residents to that are interested. So if you could sign up with Concierge. The name of this is The Power of Authenticity. I'm struggling with that word today. From Personal Story to Public Service with Lacey Schwartz Delgado. I happen to know this woman. She graduated high school a couple of years ahead of me. She's a filmmaker and has a really incredible backstory, and she eventually ended up marrying and starting a family with Antonio Delgado. And so they together, are in public service. So this might be really interesting to folks to understand that story. So that again is at 7 o'clock on Thursday the 30th at SUNY New Paltz, and you can sign up with Concierge. There is no cost to attend. Okay, back to rumors. This one says, get rid of that pathetic plastic pelican in the fountain, exclamation point. A real eyesore, exclamation point. I provided this to Cameron Reality so that she can handle that, and I guess she'll follow up on the pelican. The last one says, do we still have a relationship with the person who runs the pedicab? I had to miss the ride offered earlier this year, but I really enjoyed a ride I had last year and do hope more rides can be offered. That also has gone to Cameron, and right now Jason is, along with Carrie Burns, who is one of the coordinators in our environmental services department. They're actually at a hard to get, but they were accepted into what's called an Ignite Leadership Academy. This is run by Leading Age New York, and it's an opportunity for newer leaders to have immersive leadership education. And we actually had 5 or 6 that applied, but we were only able to take 2 spots based on how many applications they got statewide. It's just for senior living. So 4 times a year for the next, well, this is the first, and then there's 3 more after this over the next 12 months. They are attending this Ignite Leadership Academy. When Jason gets back, I'm sure Cameron will talk to him about the petty CAD question, and then we'll get back to you. So I know that's a lot. The link to this address will be going out, so you can rewatch it. And we always do re-air it at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. daily on the Tuesdays that we do them, so that in case you missed anything, you'll be able to capture that. And then we have started sending out the transcripts with these as well. So for those that are more of a reader than a watcher, lots of different ways to get this information. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next Tuesday.